Hi, Amy. It's Chris. Hi, Amy. It's Chris. I'm really hoping that my mic is working, but I'm going to go ahead anyways. I'm trying out these new a new camera angle, hoping that you'll be able to see the cards more easily than my previous readings. Maybe I'll put that here. I did a silent meditation before we started. This is a birthday reading for Amy, 2020. It's a little bit late. The energies have been pretty intense in my life. But it's interesting. I did your numerology and I did a silent prayer before we started. So I started getting messages already. So it's too bad we didn't do it closer to your birthday, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? So we'll see what happens today and just give it up to divine time and divine intervention. I'm going to be doing a 10-card reading for you in a Celtic cross spread, and I'll explain each of the positions. I'll also be going over your numerology with you. I know we did it a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I don't want to think about it. It was like just yesterday that we did it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Thank you for trusting me again. I really appreciate it and value your trust, because I know these are very personal. I'm a very private person. So anytime a private person trusts me, I just feel like $1,000,000. So thank you so much for that. You're helping me practice doing readings for people using the camera, which makes it more accessible. People ask for readings and there isn't always a good time. And I've been doing some live readings on Facebook Live, which has been really fun, but that's really putting me out of my comfort zone. So I don't really like the camera on my face. It just makes me super self-conscious when I'm trying to do a reading. So that's why my face isn't on here. So maybe someday I'll be able to do that. But there are lots of wonderful readers in the younger generations that are doing YouTube videos, and I just find them so inspiring. They're so good. So yeah, so I just kind of feel supported in what I'm doing. So in my own way, I'd like to make myself available. Okay, so I'm just going to take a couple minutes to pick your cards, and then we'll do your reading. Aww. Okay, this is a pretty heavy-duty reading. Let's see here. Okay, super interesting reading. I'm afraid to move the camera in case I get a bad shot, but maybe it's just too, let's see here. Like that would be better, right? I'm wondering, it's not very good. Okay, I'm gonna move it back here. It's not the greatest. Those candles seem to be doing more harm than good. Okay, I don't want it on me. Okay, so not the greatest, but at least you can see some of the cards, and I'll try to put them under the camera so you can see them. Let's see, maybe. Okay, a little longer. Thank you for letting me practice. Okay, I should figure this out before the reading. Oh well, okay, I promise I won't touch it again. We'll get this out of the way. Okay, and we'll get this out of the way. All right, so long story short, you're going through a lot of change. A lot of things are up in the air for you right now. And you have in the tarot deck, there are two different decks. There's the major arcana and there's the minor arcana. And those cards are kind of mixed all together. So when you get cards from the major arcana deck, which you have gotten a lot, it basically, the message to a tarot card reader is that you're going through so much change, so much is up in the air, so much is, because you're really living this carefree lifestyle right now. Nothing's defined. It's really hard to do a tarot reading, to be honest with you. But we're going to go ahead and do it. But I would invite you to, when you have time, you can look up the major arcana in the tarot deck. And as I go through your reading, you might want to follow up, more in depth online with the major cards. But you're kind of going through an internal computer upgrade. So when I talk to you about any major cards, you've got the Fool, the Sun, the Strength card, the Wheel of Fortune, the Lovers, Judgment, the Hanged Man. That's a top heavy, it's a top heavy tarot reading. So each of those could be like a year-long life lesson, and you've got them all in one reading. So you're changing. You're going through some big changes. Last year on I don't know if you remember, but I did your numerology, and I was reminded that you're a Life Path 7. So you can look that up online, Numerology Life Path 7. And that's your number for your whole life. So what that means is in your past lives, you've been a Life Path 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And in this lifetime, you're a Life Path 7. So what that tells me is that in your past life, your family was really your focus. And your home, your family, your responsibilities, putting things in order, being well organized, those were all your really big priorities in your last life. So in this life, family is important to you too, but in this life, it's a more spiritual and studious lifetime. So so that's your life path number. Usually, life path 7s, your primary goal is to be of service to others. So it's interesting you've done some work in the service industry. There are a lot of Life Path 7s that work in the public service. Life Path 7s are nurses. Life Path 7s work in the church. But really, Life Path 7s are the workers, that believe. If you find, a boss you believe in. Also, Life Path 7s love to hang out with Life Path 11s, and Sean is a Life Path 11. So you can look up numerology Life Path 11. So 7s tend to gravitate towards Life Path 9s or Life Path 11s because they're the ones with the vision, and you're willing to do the work to help support the vision. For example, if there was, a member of parliament that you really believed in, or a city councillor, you'd be the first to sign up to, deliver brochures door to door, or whatever it took. So you're a real believer in the cause. And so a big life lesson is to really take your time before you start giving your energy to something, because, you want to make sure that that person, that cause, the job, the family, the boyfriend, the whatever, that they really deserve all the love, support, energy, and hard work, resources, whatever it is, whatever you're willing to give, you want to make sure that they deserve it. And that could be a big part of your indecision on how, on what to do with your life. But my advice would definitely be to find something that really inspires you. Take some time to think about what's important to you. So it's interesting. Last year, so I find your life path number by adding your day, your date of birth, your month of birth, and your year of birth. And every year on your birthday, you go into a new numerology personal year. And the personal years are in 9-year cycles. So last year, I wish we had done a reading for you last year, because you actually went into your 7-year. So the year before last, when you moved in, I guess with your in-laws, you were in a personal year 6. And so home and family and responsibilities, were really your focus. A lot of people go to weddings or funerals or have family obligations that they have to take care of. But last year, when you hit the open road, you actually went into your 7-year. So that is so interesting that you are a Life Path 7, and during your 7-year, you were out on the open road. So what I find so interesting about that is when anyone is in their 7-year, they're in their Amy year. So people either use that energy to go back to school, to learn how to meditate, but a lot of people just want to be out in nature. Life Path 7s are very sensitive to chemicals, noise, lights, other people's energy. There are a lot of Life Path 11s and Life Path 7s that live out in the country, because there are less chemicals, less electricity, less people, because you guys are sensitive to all that stuff. So I advise anyone who's in their personal year 7 to either go back to school to learn something that can contribute to their 8-year, which is what you're going into, or to go spend time alone in nature and just connect with Mother Earth, trees, the outdoors. So I think it's amazing that you hit the open road, and we're out in the great unknown. It must have been so blissful and peaceful for you, especially because you've spent the last 5 or 6 years, dealing with people and energy, the people's energy for a while now. So you were probably happy to be out of the city, off of the buses, away from city lights, just feeling remote in the remoteness. Yeah, okay. So let's go through your reading. Where you are right now is the High Priestess. So I'll show you that card right there. So the High Priestess, she is all about passive feminine energy. She is all about going inward. So right now you might be daydreaming, maybe writing wish lists. I would advise doing, vision boards on Pinterest, maybe on your phone, the kind of job you'd like to have, the kind of wardrobe you'd like to have, the kind of home you'd like to have, hobbies you'd like to have, food you'd like to have, anything you want to manifest. She's got really great energy for that. I'm being told to remind you to kind of balance your female and male energies. And really kind of, it's a good time for you to explore your emotions too. A really good book, if you're near a bookstore, is called Discovering Your Soul's Purpose. So I'm being shown that book. If you want to explore your emotions, that's a really good one. And the other book for the High Priestess is a book called Something More. And that's if you actually want to read stories based on real women's lives, of women who wanted something more in their life. And anyway, so those are my two suggestions for that one. This book, or this card, is really, you can kind of be in a funky situation or be unbalanced if you're comparing yourself to other people. And that can happen in a 7-year, especially because a lot of people in their 7-year go back to school to get something that they don't have that's going to take them closer to their goals. So if you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, like, use it as a gift to say, okay, like if other people are going to Disney World for, on holidays, and you want to go to Disney World on holidays, like you can take your power back and take the necessary steps to like save up to go to Disney World for holidays or whatever it is for you. But the High Priestess is kind of like that. I call it the Cinderella card. And, I used to think, oh, it'd be cool to have like the High Priestess tarot, or, I used to think, oh, I like being the High Priestess, but really, like, I don't want to be Cinderella. I don't want to be comparing myself to other people. And so I'm like, cancel on that. She's wonderful though. And she is really powerful at manifesting like what she wants. So there's a great documentary called The Secret, and it's all about like what you think and what you say you manifest. So let's say, even if you're on the open road and you say, okay, I'm thinking of a unicorn, you could take something really, really random and then see throughout your day how often you come across a unicorn on a billboard, or a unicorn drink, or a unicorn, something comes up on Facebook, something like that. But that's another exercise you can do with the High Priestess energy. While you're in this daydreaming, trying to bring things to yourself, you are not powerless. You are actually very powerful. So be very mindful of what you think and what you say, because that's what you're going to create. If you say, oh, my life sucks, or this sucks, or whatever, it's just going to be a total suck fest. So even if you don't believe it, even if you think, oh, my life is great, and you say, wow, like today was a great day, I'm so grateful. And even if it doesn't resonate with you as being true, that's what turns scarcity into abundance. And that will help you start feeling more resourceful. I think the spring and your birthday, you're going to be going into your 8-year, and you got the Sun card here, so that's wonderful. So I see you doing something fun, and I feel like it has to do with the weather. So as the weather becomes nicer, and you're outside more, I see you here. Maybe you'll go to a nude beach, or you'll hit, I don't know, Sauble Beach, or Florida. being outside, gardening, being in the earth, taking walks in the forest. These are all wonderful things. And I feel like you're going to feel like a kid and you're going to play. I see some cake decorating going on, maybe for your birthday. That's going to be fun. So definitely give yourself permission to be a kid. That sounds great. In your recent past here, you've got the Four of Pentacles. And this is you. You see the city way out there, back there? And that's you, away from the city. And you're like, yeah, I'm just not ready to give of myself right now. I know all this stuff and I have a lot to give and I have a lot to offer, but I don't really trust anybody right now and I don't really know what I care about. And so you're still figuring that out. Your atmosphere right now is the Fool. Look at you. You're like, I'm leaving the past behind. I have everything I need. I've got packed in my little bag here. Everything else I trash because it's no longer serving me. This little dog here, it's interesting. It's really calling my attention. So that's a reminder that while you're going through these changes and all these unknowns, that your mind doesn't rule you. You rule your mind. So this little yappy dog here that's like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? If you're worried or you're stressed or there's a, let me see if I can remember. Oh gosh, I can't believe I can't remember this. Yeah, I'm being shown, there's a story about an elephant in India where elephants are highly regarded. There was an elephant that would go into a market and just cause total destruction and smashing pots over and just causing complete chaos. And they solved the problem by giving the elephant a stick. And the stick occupied the elephant, and all the tradespeople were able to keep their pottery and vegetables and tents in their proper places. So if you can, give your mind something to do. Maybe you could take a course online, crossword puzzles, creative writing, figure out your, I'm taking a mindful meditation course this month online. I can give you information about that if that interests you. But yeah, you might have some concerns about your mind or that you're going crazy or, but they're definitely either you can occupy your mind with healthy things or maybe meditation is a good way to get what's it called? It's like the fight, flight, fright responses to calm down your brain circuits. So yeah, overactive brain. You control your brain doesn't control you. All right, so that's the atmosphere. It's interesting. As of your birthday, you're going into your 8th year, and it's telling me already that this is the reason for the reading. So strength, when you go into your personal year 8, usually people are basically you reap the rewards of your last 7 years. So if you can go back 7 years ago, 8 years ago, you had a new beginning in your life, and now you're kind of harvesting the good and bad consequences of that change. The card came upside down. So basically, you can look this up online, the strength card. This is your homework for the year. Okay, so you've got all year to figure this out. But basically, the strength card is learning the difference between being nice, but not too nice that you hurt yourself or other people, or being too severe where you hurt yourself and other people. Instead of saying like, go fuck yourself, you can say, no, thank you. So you can practice that in the mirror. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thanks. No, thank you. And the same goes for, being nice. You got it upside down. So I think, again, this has to do with your comfort around your feelings. and your comfort in saying no to something or disappointing someone. Also see the infinity loop up there above your head there. You can give and give and give and give, but I think this year you're also going to learn to ask for things for yourself and be open to receiving. And it might be hard to ask for, it might be difficult to ask for help or ask for directions, but the universe is going to send you those types of experiences to kind of bring you out of that isolation, to help you trust other people, to help you realize there are good people in the world. And I think partially the reason you don't trust people is because you don't trust yourself. So, because you want to be nice, but you don't trust people. You want to say no, but you don't trust people. So the minute that you feel comfortable setting healthy boundaries with people, you're going to be in a much better place, to give and take of yourself. And you have so much to offer and you have so much going for you. And I think in your heart, you'd really like to contribute to something meaningful as a life path 7. So, yeah. So while you're doing this soul searching and finding out what's important to you and, where you'd like to get involved, definitely, look at it from a place, well, what's in it for me? If you're applying for a new job, it's like, well, what's in it for me? Is there an education component? What's the salary? I prefer to work these hours, and definitely look at situations from both sides. So good luck with that, but I really feel like that's what your homework is for the whole year. Okay. So it's telling me that you're happy in life, that you're celebrating all you've achieved. You're looking forward to new beginnings, even though you're not quite sure what those are. I think in general, you feel very grateful for where you are. You're proud of yourself. You really like your life. It's telling me here again that the base of the matter is you're genuinely happy with yourself. You like your life, your partner. So that's really wonderful. So this is genuine self-love, self-happiness, self-contentment. So I think once you practice, once you work on your emotions and not feeling like you're controlled by your emotions or controlled by your brain or controlled by other people, once you take your power back, I think you're going to feel a lot more confident when you reintegrate yourself into a situation. I'm being told that in the future, there's a job opportunity that you really want or considering, but for some reason it's on hold or it's not the right fit for you. You are concerned about employment because you're thinking about your legacy. You're thinking about, will I have a house, to pass on? Will I have a book that I've written to pass on? What about my pension? What about security? Things like that. And it's keeping you awake at night. So I've got this card here. We've got the 9 of Swords. So this is you up at night, not sleeping because you're worried about these things. So see how the bed is orange and there are flowers and all kinds of things on the bed. So that's my attention's kind of being drawn to that. It's like there's so many things that you want. There's so many things on your mind. I sometimes call this card it's like you put your hand, oh no, that's a different card. Sorry. So yeah, I would say I'm looking at this again, and it's the Knight of Pentacles, but you got it reversed. So I don't know, maybe you feel like you're missing out on something. But I would definitely, instead of focusing on what you don't have, I would definitely start focusing on the High Priestess. So even something as simple as going on Pinterest and creating categories for different parts of your life and saving pictures from the internet onto those vision boards will help bring what you want to you instead of you going to what you want. It's just as powerful. And I think it'll help you. I think it'll help you because you feel so overwhelmed by all these ideas and all this stuff that's on your mind. It'll help you narrow the scope and tell the universe exactly what you want to manifest. So that's my advice. Wish lists and vision boarding. And even if you're on the road, you can do it on your Pinterest. So right now, this is really good. This is how you see yourself, the Hanged Man. So, you're still feeling pretty good here. You've got this Knight of Cups, feeling good about yourself. And you are, in a way, it's telling me here that even though you have a lot on your mind, that you are trusting the universe. And this card is all about trusting that you are where you're supposed to be and things are happening for a reason. And so even though you're upside down, you're feeling kind of enlightened. I'm a life path 5. And when I was 5 years old, my parents took me to live in Africa for a year. And I did the numerology, and I was in my personal year 5. So I was a 5 and a 5 year, and my parents took me out of school to take me overseas for a year. And I was so happy to break out of kindergarten, I got to tell you. And a life path 5 is all about freedom. And I'm just like rock and roll. I had airplanes in my personal year 5. So a 7, in a 7 year who gets to hit the open road, that's a pretty joyful thing. So I can totally feel that when I did your numerology, I totally got goosebumps. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. So you can read this one up online too, but this is like, you don't know all the answers. You don't know how things are going to fall into place, but you're feeling pretty good about what's happening in your life right now. So this is interesting. So this position is kind of like my least favorite position in the deck, but sometimes it's significant. I'm not sure. I feel like either your partner or your friends or maybe even Sean, I don't think there's people that you tell this too much, but there are things that you would like to be doing that you haven't really been working on. Like maybe you've always wanted to do poetry, but you've been putting it off. Maybe you've always wanted to write a song, but you've been putting it off. Maybe you really feel like you should be starting your own business, but you've been putting it off. So that's how somebody sees you. Somebody sees you as ignoring the call, to do your life passions. A good book, I don't know if you're into reading books, but a good book about that is a book by Deepak Chopra called The Path to Love. And that's all about, your passions are important because your passions are your truth. And the minute you think you can't have what you want, we become depressed. So if that's the case, if you've said, oh, I want to, start my own business, but these are all the reasons I can't, and you're sitting, in the corner having a pity party for yourself, it's time to take your power back and either get help or start taking the baby steps towards what you want to do. And because we're here to live passionate lives and pursue our passions, because our passions are our truth. Okay, so I hope that helps with that one. And whoever's encouraging you. What's this? Your hope or your fear? So I would say your fear, this is the Page of Cups, and you got it reversed. And I think your fear is like a lack of romance in your life. So maybe you're with your spouse day in and a day out, and you guys, I think you'd like, maybe a date night every once in a while, or, you're worried that he's not seeing you in a romantic way, or you're not feeling romantic, or, you know, they're just some little things that, and I think again, this comes into the Strength card, which you got upside down with the infinity loop there. I would find a pen and a piece of paper and draw that infinity loop a bazillion times. I think this is really simple. And I posted a Tony Robbins video actually on my wall recently. And it's like, well, just, you know, you're going to have to put your big girl underpants on and ask for what you want. Yep. You're just going to have to ask for what you want. And you're a creative person, so I hope that goes well. And maybe, you know, whatever you want, you could start doing for that person. So if you feel like, you know, things are romantic, maybe you can leave little love notes, you know, around the cabin and the truck or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, I believe in you. I believe in you. I think you guys can overcome this. Okay, so the final outcome, it looks to me like you're going to get married. So you've got the King of Swords here. King of Swords, oh my goodness. So he's a Gemini, Libra, or, oh, I always screw this up. And I had a post-it and I took it down. Anyways, I'll have to confirm, but you can look up the air sign. So I think this is your partner, the King of Swords. And you got the wedding card. So this is good. This is very good. You got the wedding card. And you got the Lovers. So holy Godiva Batman. So yeah, the reading is, so the Lovers can mean a couple of things. I really feel like around you is a lot of purple, and that's a lot of transmutation energy. You guys are really, you're healing together, but you're also very healing around other people. I'm being told that you guys are very different. You have different sort of belief systems. Like, even though some of your beliefs are different, when you come together, you learn a lot from each other. But yeah, and I think that you both like being together and living together, and you feel like family. I don't think you're married, so you might want to get married, or you might want to go, you know, make a special stop in the Poconos or something like that, or a stop in Niagara Falls, or, you know, celebrate your anniversary in some way. And just like pat yourselves on the back for how far you've come and your commitment to each other, and just spend some time, you know, being really grateful for each other. The Lovers, again, can mean a choice in love, but it can also be, I feel like you're both in this kind of daydream stage. Like, what kind of people do we want to be? You know, are we the kind of people that live in an apartment, or do we want to live in a condo? Are we the kind of people, you know, that recycle, or, you know, so you guys have both had a huge change in your identities in the past couple of years in terms of what you've been doing with your lives. But that's, you know, what you do in your life isn't who you are. But I think that as you move forward and you start making new decisions about where you want to live, who you want to be, like, now is the time to kind of have those discussions as a couple. And I think that this guy can't, I hope I'm saying this right. It's not that he wants to call all the shots or make all the rules, but now is the time for you to put your 2 cents in and say, hey, like, if we're going to live in a tiny house so we can travel the rest of the year, you know, I'm going to need this and I'm going to want that. And yeah, so I feel like you just need to be a little bit more assertive about what you want and what you need and what's important to you, even if you haven't totally figured it out. And I have a feeling that this guy, you know, because down the road, you can't complain. You can't complain about things. You can't agree to things, and a year from now, you know, complain about it. That's all I'm saying. So you can either learn that right away, or you can learn that a year from now. But that is what the reading is telling me. And I remember, I don't know, when I was 22 or something, somebody asked me to be their maid of honor. And I told them twice, no, I do not want to be your maid of honor. And this friend really bullied me into it. And I think at that time I spent over $2,000. I ended up taking the summer off, not having an income. And I think I paid out of pocket over $2,000 for the wedding. And we remained friends for a while afterwards, but you know, she hadn't respected my no. I hadn't respected my no. I went ahead and did it anyway. And in the end, you know, our friendship dissolved. And I couldn't complain about it. You know, it's like, wow, I actually agreed to this and I can't complain about it. And so, in a lot of ways, I regretted that situation. But at the same time, it taught me in a big way how to say no and mean no. So stick up for your, you know, the reading is saying it's really, you know, there's so much positive energy here. There's all the cards are yellow. You have a bright future ahead of yourself. Just the only thing, and I think you're learning that this year, is to speak up and ask for what you want and be open to receiving, because you are very, very giving. So think of the infinity loop and visualize, you know, all the energy you put out, but then, you know, imagine the energy coming back in and you being open to receiving on all levels. So mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. Yeah, so that's interesting. And you can look up numerology personal year 8 on the internet and read more about that. And you've got the strength card, so that's your homework for the year. So you want to read all about her. Your card, if you want to know your card for your whole life, it's the Chariot, so you can look that one up too. And so yeah, that is your reading. Holy Godiva. So the Strength card, the Hanged Man, the Sun, the Fool, the Wheel of Fortune. What else have we got? Anything else? Oh yeah, the Lover, Judgment. These are all big cards, okay? Like if you had gotten one or two of these cards, I guess I can't, I'm not showing them very well. If you'd received one or two of these cards, you know, I would have thought, wow, you're going through a lot, but you've got all of these. So anyway, so it's kind of interesting. It just means that your insides are changing. You're going through an upgrade. So just be really gentle with yourself. You know, self-care is really important to the best of your ability with your situation. Like even buying nice hand cream or, you know, lighting some candles or get the, these little guys, or if I can see it, you know, maybe there's some mindful meditation that you can find on YouTube. Any kind of self-care that you can do, being nice to yourself.